Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today, we are going to take another look at Kaiju number 8, and we are just going to take a fully in-depth look at Kaiju number 10. There will be spoilers all the way up through chapter 72, if you haven't read till chapter 72 yet, but we're just going to go over everything we know about Kaiju number 10. Why? Because weapon number 10 has been revealed in chapter 72 of Kaiju number 8. This is the first Kaiju weapon that was converted to a weapon, to a numbered weapon suit, while the Kaiju was still conscious and aware. All the other suits, the Kaiju was completely destroyed, the core was destroyed, and the body was built up around the suit. But for Kaiju number 10, they had a unique opportunity because of how Kaiju number 10 was captured to build a numbered suit with the conscience still alive and awake. And we just get a glimpse of the back of this suit, which has an awesome tail, by the end of chapter 72, but we know a lot about Kaiju number 10, and we know a lot about number 10's wielder, Vice Captain Hoshina. And it just strikes me more and more about how right Kaiju number 10 was when he said that they were similar. And we're going to take a long look at that because this is very, very interesting. All right, weapons number 10, Kaiju number 10. Where are we going back to this? So, Kaiju number 10 showed up way back at the end of, I think it was chapter 23 or 24, just after we had that wonderful moment between Vice Captain Hoshina and Kafka, where Vice Captain Hoshina said, "I have faith in 1% of you," and gave Kafka that amazing moral boost. Now, Kaiju number 10 shows up at a very, very interesting time because it was the culmination of a 3-beat arc of Kafka going from a loser who lounged around, an out-of-weight loser who lounged around his apartment, just not connecting with anybody, with very few social connections, just feeling miserable about his place in life. So even though he had a good, well-paying job, even though he was a very respectable civil servant, he just felt like he had completely failed in his life. Then he applies to the defense force, he gets going, and there's this massive boost in who Kafka is as a person. He's now a formal defense force officer. He's made it. He's not just a cadet anymore, and he has proved that he is useful to the defense force, not just for the power that he can field as Kaiju number 8, but that his ability to think his way through the battlefield, to analyze his Kaiju, is so powerful that it's overcome his 1% power ability to draw 1%. And so this is the point at which Kafka Haibino has really come into his own. And this is shown through this perspective of Vice Captain Hoshina. And Vice Captain Hoshina giving him that approval. And it's interesting that I thought at the time it was interesting that came through Vice Captain Hoshina and not Mina, as you would expect in a shonen. But then, that just as Kafka's in the secure place, you have the attack by Kaiju number 10. And Kaiju number 10, through this attack, completely destroys that relationship that Kafka and Vice Captain Hoshina have been building up to this point. And just destroys Hoshina on an emotional level, because you can see it in his eyes, that haggard, gutted look that Vice Captain Hoshina has when he's sitting there guarding Kafka. Whether he's guarding the base from Kafka or guarding Kafka from the base, you don't really know at that point. But Vice Captain Hoshina had been put through the ringer. So how did that happen? So, I just want to take a moment to look at who Vice Captain Hoshina is. So you have Mina Ashiro. She is a super powerhouse, but she's also something of a glass cannon. She has this... She's basically mobile artillery. They can take out even the most powerful, bulkiest of kaiju with a single shot, but her mobility is very low. She has to depend on her Tiger Bako to keep for the backwash from her gun from knocking her over if she doesn't have a tremendous amount of time to set up her shot. And she needs time to set up that shot because her weapon doesn't reload very fast. She's only got, it looks like maybe 5 shots in her at the best. before she overheats. So she needs someone to arrange the kaiju for her to shoot, and that was where Vice Captain Hoshina comes in. Not just with his own swords. We've seen again and again that Vice Captain Hoshina is really good at backing larger kaiju into corners. He can't take them out directly, but he can back them down until they're ready to be taken out. But he's also in a sense, he's the true commander of the unit. He's the one who tells everybody where to be. He takes a personal hand in training up new recruits. He was there not just for Kafka. The fact that he was there for Kafka is a result of the fact that he's there for all the newbies. It's Vice Captain Hoshina who maintains those connections with the rank and file in the 3rd Division. It's Vice Captain Hoshina who organizes people, tells people where to be. He's the one who's in constant communication with Glasses Girls, with Okanoki back in the control center. And Mina is really almost a peripheral of the 3rd Division. She is a super powerful weapon, but her role as captain is more symbolic than practical. She is the face of the 3rd Division. She's graceful, she's composed, she's easy to look at, but it's really Vice Captain Hoshina who is in command of all of these really strong personalities and incredibly powerful warriors, and it's Vice Captain Hoshina who keeps them all in line. He's also a brawler. He's down there getting his hands dirty with the one-on-one combat. Now, Kaiju number 10, what made him so interesting? What was his primary capacity? What was the first thing that stuck out to him, to the kaiju genius that is Kafka? He had command of all those wyvern kaiju. And you have kaiju number 9 who's orchestrating all of this, but it's kaiju number 10 who has direct command of the wyvern kaiju, who is directing them in this combat situation. It's kaiju number 10 who gets down and dirty and likes to brawl. So yes, as a kaiju number 10 and Vice Captain Hoshina, they're both secondary commanders on the field, getting their hands dirty, setting things up for their superiors. So just on a psychological level, Kaiju number 10 is a lot like Vice Captain Hoshina. And with what we've seen in the past 3 chapters, I'm beginning to think in story that wasn't just a coincidence. Kaiju number 9 has been studying humans. Kaiju number 9 is cautious. He's studying, practicing, and mimicking human behavior. This entire combat scenario over the past 3 chapters has been Kaiju number 9 mimicking the Director General's combat style. Then you see that brainy ballerina was Kaiju number 9 mimicking Kikoru on a physical level. And Kaiju number 9 did seem to have a focus on the 3rd Division. He didn't know that much. He was still studying them. We know he doesn't know that much about the captain, because he asked the question, is that captain of theirs that powerful? But with Vice Captain Hoshina being the one on the ground and being well known, when Vice Captain Hoshina went to investigate Kaiju number 9's presence in the cleaning crew, they recognized him. So the cleaning crew knew about Vice Captain Hoshina. So it is entirely possible that Kaiju number 9 crafted Kaiju number 10's psychology on Vice Captain Hoshina's, because the 3rd Division is probably the most effective division in the Defense Force at this point. It was at least the division that Kaiju number 9 was studying the closest. And with Vice Captain Hoshina being the actual boots on the ground kind of guy as compared to Mina, it does make sense that Kaiju number 9 would have crafted his more effective command module, Kaiju number 10 that is, after Vice Captain Hoshina. So what do you think? Do you think that Kaiju number 10 was directly created to mirror Vice Captain Hoshina's mental abilities as well as his physical abilities? And again, Kaiju number 10 attacked when Mina was gone. All right. So now let's talk about that suit, weapon number 10. Colors are always very interesting, but it looks like it's another black suit. It might be gray. It's hard to tell because it's in comparison to the black gloves and the black pants, but it looks like it might be more of a silvery gray than the standard black or Kikoru's white. Maybe suggesting that it's a mix of Kaiju number 10 and Vice Captain Hoshina. And there's just something interesting I noticed on about my 10-3 read. Kaiju, when Okanogi is giving the all clear for weapons number 10, she says form assimilation complete. Makes sense. Kaiju muscle fibers and Uniorgans fully operational. So, this suit in its standby mode, getting ready to attack, has multiple Uniorgans operational. Now remember the trick that Kaiju number 10 in his giant form used to take out Vice Captain Hoshina and almost did kill him. Vice Captain Hoshina's shields barely managed to keep him alive, was to have those multiple eyeballs. It looks like looking up at Vice Captain Hoshina. So it looks like instead of just one Uniorgan in Kaiju number 10, it had multiple Uniorgans. And all of these Uniorgans have been embedded in this suit. So where are they? I want to know, is that what the segmented tail is for? Is each one of the segments in those tails hosting its own Uniorgan? I had thought the tail was just for balance, like the tail of a cheetah or the tail of a kangaroo, allowing greater mobility with Vice Captain Hoshina traveling at the speeds that he'll be traveling at. But we'll see. So Vice Captain Hoshina's got his swords. And interestingly enough, the swords do not appear to be symmetrical. One of the swords appears to be the same as his old sword, and the handle is just a traditional sword handle. But if you look at the sword that he'd be drawing with his left hand, there appears to be an extension to the handle going widthwise rather than lengthwise. So I'm guessing that's the trigger, just like Hikaru's axe has a trigger to trigger the special function. But who knows what that is. Also, because Kaiju number 10, he was basically a brawler. His only other superpower was the ability to control other Kaiju. So will Weapon Suit number 10 be able to control their Kaiju, or will Weapon Suit number 10 be able to control other Defense Force weapons? Will Vice Captain Hoshina be able to actively hack and hijack the other Defense Force officers' suits with this weapon? It's an interesting thought. So, what is Weapons number 10 superpower going to be? Will it be able to control other Kaiju, interfere with their movements? Will other Kaiju be able to hack weapons numbers 10? And of course, the big question, what will the constant battle between the very much awake awareness of Kaiju number 10 do to our Vice Captain Hoshina? Because remember, there's that threat hanging over us. Could he become a villain? We'll see. Alright, let me know what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out, my wonderful viewers. Humans are weird, let's work it out. Available on Indiegogo for the month of October 2022. Monty Python meets Star Trek in this third book of human absurdity. This book joins its two siblings in a trilogy of human madness. You can find the first two books, author-signed first editions, at Indiegogo with Book 3, or you can go on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever books are available to get your copies of the first two books. Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out, Book 3 in the series, available on Indiegogo, October 2022.